Hey guys, this is Nova at Nova Gnome Creations, and I have a special video for you today. My sister decided to film a little special feature for you guys on how she makes the felt eyes that I use. And she's going to be making some felt mouths today, so that's pretty cool. So stay tuned if you would like to see that, and thank you, sis.
Hello, Nova Gnomies. I am Cheyenne. I am Nova's sister. Clearly, I am not Nova. I figured that today we would give her a little break and we would do something together instead. I am a crafter just like her, except for I have no ability to do anything with yarn. I don't know, there's something about it, I'm just not good at it. But I do utilize my skills in order to make things for Nova. So I like to make her Amigurumi eyes using my iPad and my Cricut. So this is a program called Cricuit. If you don't have the ability to do digital art or that, you can buy designs on Etsy, or you can utilize free images on Google in the Cricut program, or Cricut. I think it's Cricut though, in my opinion, because the logo is a Cricut. Anyways, I have designed her Amigurumi eyes that we would make with felt. I've already made these ones. So this is what they will look like, and they're little astronomical solar system-y vibe eyes, and these are uniquely Nova's. I hope they're unique. I did make them myself. However, I have other things I need to make for her because I'm going to be mailing them to her. So we're going to be starting today with this little face. We're going to, that is Ollie. I'm sure all of you know who Ollie is at this point, but that is my son. So don't mind him in the background. He is playing on his kid's tablet, and he is only 3, so he's just learning how to say words. So some of the things he says might sound like other things, but I promise it's not. So anyways, we are going to get started, and we are going to make that face, or that smile, that will be used for like kittens and dogs and different things. So the first thing that you guys are going to want to do is get your drawing, whether it be something you did yourself, something you purchased, or something that you found on the internet, and have that in your Cricut app. And I'm going to show you how you're going to make it usable in the app. I'm going to insert a screen recording now. Okay, so now that you have it ready in your app, you're going to get first your black felt. I like to use a thick felt. You're gonna want to have a firm felt because the more lax it is, the harder that the Cricut machine has to cut the felt itself. And my mat, as you guys could probably see, is on its last leg, but I like to use everything until it gives up on me. So I use masking tape on that, and all I do is tape at the ends here on both sides so that while my machine is cutting, it doesn't move. And then when I do my design, I just make sure to avoid the first couple centimeters on the front or the ends, so the top and the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to load up into your machine. So our first cut is done. We're going to go ahead and push this out of the machine and then untape it from the mat. Again, tape is optional. If you have a strong grip mat, you wouldn't need it. I try to get my use out of my standard Cricut products. On that subject, I buy just bulk Cricut needles, or blades is the right word, off of Amazon. I don't buy Cricut blades, and I also don't buy felt blades when I'm doing felt projects. I just use the regular blade. It works fine for me. Again, personal choice. So all I'm doing here is grabbing out all of my little mouths that I have used to my Cricut to cut. They come out really easily. You don't need to use a weeder or anything like that, and you shouldn't have any issues with just pulling them out. Sometimes there might be a little spot where your blade miscut or didn't like fully cut, like right here. See how it's kind of just a little bit attached? You can just take a pair of scissors and finish the cut as long as it's not too complex of a piece. My suggestion with felt is don't go too complex because you have to consider this is a fabric almost that the blades are cutting. So the more bends and turns that it has to complete, the harder it is going to be for the machine to do your design. So I have gotten all of the mouths off of the mat, and then all I'm gonna do before I go on to the next part is just go through and trim off any little fuzzies or uneven spots, because I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to my things, and especially anything that I'm making for Nova. I want them to be perfect as they can be. Again, don't mind little Ollie in the background. He is playing. So I just go through and basically quality control any of my cuts to make sure they're all good. So for the next part, you're gonna need an iron or a heat press if you have one. A lot of people who own a Cricut do own it. Don't touch that. Do own a heat press, but if you don't have one, an iron works just as well. It just might take you a little bit longer because you're going to be having to do smaller amounts of pressing at one time versus being able to do it all in one go. This part is also optional. If you just would prefer to attach all of your pieces or your components with a glue gun, you can. I just use a bonded fabric backing on the pieces that I am, like, see this one? It's got a lot of fuzzes on it. I am using a bonded fabric backing, but that is entirely up to you. You can order it just online. It looks like this. Faffy's not here, buddy. Ali calls Nova Faffy. That's her Auntie. And I guess he heard me talking about her enough that he has decided that she is here. So, I am going to be utilizing this pink. Sorry, I have a million felts over here because I have lots of ideas of things. I'm going to be using this pink, which I have already used for stars before, to go ahead and cut out the tongue area, or the tongue part of these mouths. So I'm just cutting off the spot that already had cuts on it. And then obviously they're not going to be taking up as much surface area as the mouths themselves because it's just the tongue. So I'm not going to need nearly as much felt. Felt's extremely inexpensive at craft stores, so don't try to get them too close together because the blade will struggle to cut that as well. And then I am just going to match up my felt to the bonded backing and cut a piece that matches the same size. It can be a little bit bigger, that's fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. Obviously, you just want to make sure that all of your edges or all of your spots are covered so that you don't have to do any extra gluing later on in the project. Okay. Okay, so my cut is done. And this is what it looks like from the back when you use your binded backing. And you're just going to work on popping out these pieces. It doesn't matter if the paper on the back tears at all because that's not going to be kept once you attach it to the actual black part of the mouth that you've already cut back. If actually, you know, if you wanted to, you can always just peel it off like this just to make it easier for you to pop out your pieces of the mouth. And so that you don't have to spend time individually pulling them off like this in a little bit. It's up to you. If you're not going to use them, you know, all at once and you want to keep the backings on, you can do that, and you can be a little bit more meticulous about when you're pulling them off not to cause as much ripping, but it's up to you. I don't care that much because I'm going to be using them, and if I don't use them, what Nova does is she actually adheres them using a glue gun that like activates the bonded backing, so it's not that important for at least our particular situation that we do to keep the paper on the back. And honestly, it takes a little bit more effort to keep the paper on the back. One, you have to be a little bit more careful when pulling your mouth pieces off or whatever you're cutting, eyeballs, whatever. And then also the paper just wants to come off because like once it dries, it's not tacky, it's not sticky or anything, even if you do heat it. So yeah, I've gone ahead and taken all of those off. There is extra space, so I do keep all my scraps, which is why you've seen like the pieces of stars on it before. I always keep everything because you never know when you want to use them. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our black pieces and we are going to line up the pink pieces just like so. And then we are going to go back to the heat press and heat these up in bulk and adhere the mouths. So I'm going to line all of this up and I'll meet you guys back over at the heat press. Okay, I've got everything lined up, and so I'm just going to fold this to cover it all and grab our heat press here and let the press do its work. And I'm filming this with one hand, so I went ahead and stopped it and flipped it over so I could heat up the other side because you want to get like a pretty even heat on it. And again, you don't have to do it for very long or for a lot of pressure. It's just to get that to adhere. Okay, so I have gone ahead and pressed them and let them cool. So they are all cooled off in here. And so I'm just going to open the parchment paper very carefully, just in case, you know, for some reason one of them didn't press well or got stuck. I don't want to hurt any of them. we have it. We have a good, healthy amount of little mouths for Nova's amigurumis. Now, when she gets these, all she has to do is adhere them to whatever her newest creation is. And she can do the eyes with them. I'm gonna make her at some point other things too when I go to send this, but here we've got eyes and a mouth for her creations. And she's got those little safety noses, but I might make her just some little noses as well. But hopefully this helps you gnomies out there who want to make their own felt items. Like I said, I just use a standard grip green Cricut mat. I use the long one just because sometimes I want to do a large quantity of them at one time, but you don't have to use the long one. You can use just the regular one that you use for all of your regular Cricut products or projects. And then for my blades, I actually just buy a generic brand multi-pack from Amazon because I can get a whole pack for like 10 bucks versus paying for a Cricut brand blade can cost quite a bit, especially when you're looking at getting, you know, a felt one in addition to your regular Cricut blade. It adds up. Plus, whenever I'm feeling that the blade is being a little dull, I can just swap it out without feeling too bad about, you know, if there could still be a few cuts left in it. But that is all up to the individual on whether or not that's something that they want to do. And then I just use felt from Hobby Lobby. You guys can probably get it at any craft store and then get the stiff felt. I think that's the terminology for it. You don't want to get the floppy felt. And I'll kind of show you the difference actually. I think I do. Okay, so, and you can get lots of different felts. I have a lot of cool felts to practice things for Nova, but I will show you the difference between a thick felt and a standard felt. So this is your thick felt. So if I were to hold it out, it's going to stay out on its own pretty much. Obviously this one's a bit long, but it's the same concept. This one is floppy. It doesn't matter like how, you know, much I try, it's not going to stay like out straight. So I was hoping on the back it would say. So this is classic. They don't say what the like name for the other felt. But regardless, you're gonna want to get a more firm felt. Sorry, some of the paper had a little bit of glue backing on it from the last time I did this, and it made them stick, which is fine because this is the front still. It just has a little bit on the back, but nobody's ever gonna see that. Not a big deal. But when I'm pulling it up, it's being a little mean to me. Anyways, I'm gonna get real creative here with my felts and try to make some really cool stuff for Nova. I picked up some fun ones at Hobby Lobby, and I don't know how they're gonna work, but this is a felt. So I'm thinking I'm gonna make her some galaxy eyes just so she has a variety. So I'm very excited about that, but I don't know how the blade is going to cut this. So if I make this eyes with this, I will insert some pictures at the end of this takeover video. Just so you can see, this is also from Hobby Lobby. It was only $1.99. And then with the cosmic eyes that I made for her before, and I'll show you guys again. They look like this. See the glitter on them? That's these. These are 99 cents at Hobby Lobby, and the machine cuts them very well. So I got a couple of colors of those to make stuff for her as well. But thank you guys for watching and sticking with me for this little takeover video. Here is what we made together, a bunch of little animal mouths or things like that. And there's literally, so even with all my talking and rambling on, it takes like maybe a half hour to make this many, which is, I think, fantastic and a great value for your time. So you guys have a great night, and I will see you on the next video. Hey guys, just popping in here to show you what I kind of came up with that plasticky felt. Is a prototype like this. These are obviously prototypes for a reason. You can see lots of errors and mistakes, but I'm going for something like this, but I'm not sure. So if you guys have any suggestions, feel free to leave them in Nova's comments and let me know what you think is a good idea to use that galaxy felt for.